Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something that sets Locked apart from all those other soccer games out there. It's not just the fast-paced gameplay that has us hooked, but the cool mechanic called abilities, or weapons. Now, we're not talking about just kicking the ball around. These weapons add a whole new layer of strategy and fun to the game. With over 24 weapons available, each one offering its own unique advantage. The possibilities are endless. But of course, some are definitely better than others. So in this video, we're going to break them down from the best of the best to the ones you might want to skip. Whether you're new to Locked or you've been playing for a while, knowing which weapons pack the most punch can make all the difference. Some give you insane speed boosts, while others can totally mess with your opponent's game plan. We've got the tier list ready to go so you can figure out which weapons are worth mastering and which ones might leave you hanging. Stick around because this could totally change the way you play. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking weapons in Locked. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Leader, Long Legs, and Rough. Alright, let's talk about the weapons you'll probably want to ditch early on in Locked. We've got the D tier weapons, Leader, Long Legs, and Rough. These bad boys are all common rarity, which means they're pretty basic and not going to carry you through the tough stuff. They might be alright when you're just starting out and need something to get by, but trust me, as soon as you get the chance to upgrade, don't hesitate. These weapons really don't bring anything special to the table. So what's the deal with them? Well, they're not terrible at first, but once you get the hang of the game, you'll realize there are much better options out there. Leader has that basic feel, Long Legs is, well, awkward, and Rough? It's just rough to use. Seriously, it's all about re-rolling and moving on as soon as possible. You won't regret it. Keep an eye out for better weapons and get ready to trade up as soon as you've got the chance. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Accelerate, Acrobatic, Neurotic, Repel, Shadow, and Web. Alright, let's talk about some of the underrated weapons in Locked, the ones that, while not exactly top tier, still bring something fun to the table. We're diving into C tier weapons today. Now, I know this might sound like the meh list, but don't sleep on them. These weapons can still totally surprise you if you know how to use them. First up, we've got the Accelerate. Now, this thing's the best for dashing around like you're in some high-speed chase, but here's the catch. It's a bit of a one-trick pony. Once you've used it, you're looking at a cooldown that feels like an eternity. The power's there, but it's kind of short-lived. So if you're planning on using it, make sure you're in the right spot and time it perfectly. Otherwise, you're just going to be standing there waiting to dash again. Then there's Acrobatic. This weapon's a bit of a wild card. It's more like an emote than an actual game changer. Sure, you get up from blocks faster, but let's be real, it's kind of like throwing on a costume just to look cool. If you're looking for pure utility, it's not exactly going to carry your game. But hey, if you want to add a little flair to your moves, it might be worth considering. Neurotic is next on our list, and it definitely has its moments. It boosts your speed and lasts a solid 10 seconds. But here's the catch, you can only activate it once your ankle's broken. Yep, you heard that right. So it's got this weird delayed gratification thing going on. If you're into risk-reward mechanics, you might love this one. But if you're not into gambling your health just to go fast for a bit, it might not be your jam. Then, we've got Repel. Now, this one's for all the goalkeepers out there. It's fantastic for blocking and has become one of the best goalkeeper weapons in the game. It's not flashy, but it gets the job done when you need it most. Just don't expect it to turn you into some sort of offensive powerhouse. It's reliable for defense, and sometimes that's all you really need. The Shadow weapon is pretty cool too. It boosts your movement speed, which is fantastic for dodging opponents or making a quick getaway. However, it's not without its downside, it's super short-lived. You're getting a little burst of speed, but don't get too comfortable because it'll be over before you know it. If you've got good timing and are always on the move though, it can be a nice little advantage. Finally, we've got Web. This one's great for stopping opponents in their tracks. If you need to shut down an enemy trying to rush past you, this is your weapon. But like the others, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It has a high cooldown time, which means you'll have to pick your moments carefully. Use it right though, and it can be a game changer, especially in those high-pressure situations. So, there you have it. C-tier weapons may not always get the spotlight, but they've got some solid perks if you know how to use them right. Sometimes it's all about playing to their strengths and finding the right moments to shine. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Direct Shot, Godspeed, Ironhead, Kunigami, Riptide, Snatch, Speedster, and Voracious. Alright, let's dive straight into it. Today, we're talking about some weapons in Locked that sit comfortably in the B tier. Now, these weapons aren't exactly the creme de la creme, but they're still a lot of fun to use, and with the right strategy, they can definitely make a difference on the field. First up, we have Direct Shot. This one's perfect for snatching the ball away from your opponents quickly. If you're the kind of player who loves to swoop in and steal the ball at just the right moment, this weapon's got you covered. However, the trade-off is a pretty high cooldown time, meaning you'll need to be strategic about when to use it. It's all about timing. Nail it, and you'll be the ball-stealing king. Next, there's Godspeed, and if speed is your thing, this one's a treat. Just like the name suggests, it lets you grab the ball from opponents at lightning speed. But again, that cooldown is no joke. You'll have to play a bit more cautiously between uses, so it's best to use it when you know you've got a clear shot. Speed is power, but it's got a price. Moving on to Iron Head, a classic for those who love headers. This weapon cranks up your header powers, which is fantastic when you need to redirect the ball with precision. But, much like the others, there's always a little catch. Iron Head doesn't do much else besides give you that extra header boost, so you'll need to make those headers count. Then there's Kunigami, an exotic weapon that's all about making those picture-perfect goals. If you're a player who likes to set up shots and pass the ball around, this one's a game changer. The downside, though, is that you'll need to pass the ball to activate it, which can sometimes mess with your rhythm if you're not careful. It's one of those weapons that requires a bit more teamwork and finesse, but when it hits, it's glorious. Now let's talk about Riptide. This legendary weapon is the ultimate tool for passing the ball. If you're someone who loves setting up your teammates for success, Riptide is your best friend. It excels in passing situations, but like most legendary weapons, it doesn't shine in other areas. So, if you're looking for something more versatile, this might not be your go-to, but for passing, it's hard to beat. And last but not least, Snatch. This rare weapon has a cool mechanic where it's perfect for those who love diving into action. The catch? There's a 50% chance you might miss your catch. It's a bit of a gamble, but if you're feeling lucky, it could turn the tide of the game. Just be prepared for those occasional moments when it doesn't quite work out. So, there you have it. These B-tier weapons in Locked all have their strengths and weaknesses, but they can still make a big impact when used the right way. Whether you're zooming around the field, making passes, or setting up the perfect header, these weapons are fun to play with and can definitely help you out of a tight spot. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Formless, Nagi, Planetary, Sword Screw, and Updraft. Alright, let's talk about some of the A-tier weapons in Locked. These are the ones you'll want in your arsenal if you're looking to get ahead, but they still come with their own little quirks. First up, we've got Formless. This weapon is perfect for hitting the goal. Seriously, it's like the ball is magnetized to the net. The downside? It's got a high cooldown time. So, while you'll be setting up those game-winning shots, you better hope you've got some backup when it's on cooldown. Next up is Nagi, a legendary weapon that brings something special to the table, the ability to trap the ball midair and stop anyone from snatching it away. This is super handy for keeping control, but you need to time it right, or it might just slip through. If you're all about protecting your possession and making those passes with confidence, Nagi's your pick. Then there's Planetary. This unique weapon is fantastic for passing. If you're a team player, Planetary is a must-have. It'll help you set up your teammates with those perfectly placed passes, so they can score all the glory while you rack up the assists. The only thing? You've got to be careful with it because it doesn't have the same scoring power as other weapons. And finally, we've got Sword Screw and Updraft. Sword Screw is a legendary weapon that's amazing for scoring goals, but it's tough to learn. If you're the kind of player who loves a challenge and can master this one, you'll be racking up goals in no time. On the other hand, Updraft is a keeper's dream. It lets you steal passes by catching the ball in its radius, but it's limited to goalkeepers. If you're guarding the goal, you'll feel like an absolute hero with this one. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ace Eater, Copycat, Emperor, King, Monster, Serpent, and Watchtower. Alright, let's talk about some of the absolute beasts you'll want in your arsenal when playing Locked. If you're aiming for that top tier gameplay, then this S tier weapon list is your golden ticket. Whether you're dribbling, tackling, or scoring, these weapons are game changers, so let's dive into why they're so special. First up, we've got Ace Eater. If you've ever wanted to snatch the ball right out of someone's hands and keep it safe, this is your weapon. It not only lets you steal the ball, but it also wraps it up with a shield to keep it away from any sneaky players who think they can grab it from you. But here's the catch. You've got to keep dribbling to keep that shield going. It's a bit of a challenge, but once you get the hang of it, you'll feel unstoppable. Now, if you're the kind of player who likes to mix things up, Copycat might be your best friend. This exotic weapon lets you mimic any player's weapon, which means you can adapt on the fly depending on the situation. The downside? It has a high cooldown time, so you'll need to pick your moments carefully. Still, the versatility it offers is absolutely worth the wait. If you're a goal scorer, look no further than Emperor. This weapon is perfect for getting those perfect hits to score, making it a must-have for any forward player. The catch? Like most powerful tools, it comes with a high cooldown time, so you can't spam it. You'll need to time your strikes just right, but when you land one, it feels like magic. Then there's King, a classic for those who want a little extra edge in avoiding snatches. With this weapon, you'll find it easier to hang onto the ball when pressure's on. However, it can be a bit unpredictable at times, so you'll need to keep your wits about you. But when it works, it's a total game changer, giving you that crucial edge in tight situations. For those of you who like to play the striker role, Monster is your go-to weapon. This legendary piece is fantastic for hitting fast, hard, and efficiently, with a low cooldown time that lets you keep the pressure on your opponents. The best part? It's got the perfect balance of power and speed, making it essential for any striker who wants to dominate the field. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about Watchtower. If you're playing support or just want to boost your team, this exotic weapon is a game changer. It gives a huge hitbox buff to all your teammates, which can completely change the flow of the game. The downside? It only lasts 40 seconds, so you'll need to make every second count. But when that boost kicks in, you'll see your team's performance skyrocket. So, there you have it. These weapons are all top tier for a reason, each with their own strengths and quirks. Whether you're scoring goals, tackling, or supporting your team, these S-tier weapons will make sure you're always one step ahead in Locked. What's your favorite weapon from the list? Let me know in the comments. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.